Google just trained its latest AI models on billions of pieces of your personal data and buried the opt-out so deep almost nobody knows it exists. Here's the thing. You've probably already contributed. Every email you sent through Gmail, every search you typed, every YouTube video you watched, all of it fed into their training pipeline. And the company knows most people won't find the setting to stop it. Let me walk you through exactly what happened, why it's legal, and the loophole Google is counting on you not knowing about. So first, the timeline. Back in 2023, Google announced they were updating their privacy policies to allow AI training on user data. But here's where it gets sneaky. They didn't ask permission. They changed the rules and gave people 30 days to find and toggle an obscure setting buried 3 levels deep in account settings. Most people never saw it. Most people still don't know it exists. Google knows this. The company has decades of data showing that consent through obscure settings is basically consent nobody gives. It's not an accident that it's hidden. It's the business model. Now, what data are we talking about? When Google says your data, they mean a lot. Gmail contents, your search history, YouTube transcripts, Google Docs, Google Photos. Basically, anything that lives inside Google's ecosystem gets fed into their AI training datasets. And we're not talking about anonymized snippets. These are full, detailed records of what you've written, asked, watched, and created. A researcher at Stanford found that Google was training on emails that contained financial information, health records, even private conversations between lawyers and clients. None of those people consented. They just didn't know to opt out. So why is this legal? That's the weird part. Google's argument is that you agreed to it in the terms of service. When you created your Google account, you technically signed away broad rights to your data. Those terms say Google can use your information for service improvement and developing new features. AI training, they argue, falls under that umbrella. A lawyer could fight it, but most people won't. And that's exactly what Google is banking on. The legal system moves slowly. Tech moves fast. By the time anyone sues, the AI is already trained, the model is already deployed, and the data is already embedded in billions of parameters. But here's the loophole, the one Google really doesn't want you to know about. It's not about the law. It's about the setting itself. The opt-out exists, right? You can technically turn it off. The problem is it only applies going forward. All the data Google already used to train their models, that stays in there. It's like closing the barn door after the horses escaped. Google trained their AI on years of your information, and even if you opt out today, that data is already woven into the weights and biases of the neural network. You can't untrain a model. You can't extract your email from Gemini. It's in there permanently. And here's the second part of the loophole, the setting resets. This is the part that really gets me. Google has a history of resetting privacy settings with every major update. Users report that even after opting out, months later the setting flips back to opt-in. Sometimes it happens automatically. Sometimes it's buried in an update that millions of people install without reading the fine print. So even the people who found the setting and toggled it, they're not actually safe. They have to check back constantly to make sure Google didn't re-enable it. Now, you might be thinking, what can I actually do about this? The honest answer is limited, but there are steps. First, go check your setting right now. In Google Account Settings, go to Data and Privacy, then scroll down to Web and App Activity. You'll see a toggle for Include your activity on Google Sites and apps in your Google account. Turn that off. It won't remove past data, but it stops new data from being collected. Second, consider using privacy-focused alternatives for sensitive stuff. Proton Mail instead of Gmail. DuckDuckGo instead of Google Search. It's not perfect, but it reduces the amount of new material you're handing over. Third, and this is the one people don't think about, delete old data. Go to your Google Takeout, download your data, see what's there, and then use the deletion tools to purge old emails, old searches, old everything you don't need Google to have. It won't affect what's already in their training datasets, but it reduces your ongoing footprint. The bigger picture here is that this isn't unique to Google. Meta is doing it. Microsoft is doing it. Every major tech company is racing to train AI on as much user data as possible because that's where the competitive advantage is. Better data equals better models. And they know that the average person won't opt out because they won't know it's an option. The companies are betting on friction. They're betting that privacy is hard and most people will just accept it. What's wild is that this is all technically within their legal rights, at least in the US. Europe's stricter. The EU's AI Act and GDPR actually require explicit consent before training on personal data. So if you're in Europe, you might have more protection. But even there, enforcement is slow and companies keep testing the boundaries. The companies know the fines are a cost of doing business. They calculate it in advance. They train the AI anyway. They pay the fine. They move on. It's cheaper than not training on your data. So the real loophole isn't a bug in the system. It's the system itself. It's designed to be hard to opt out, easy to get re-enrolled, and basically impossible to remove data once it's already been used. It's not a mistake. It's intentional. And the only real pressure that changes this is either regulation that actually has teeth or enough people making enough noise that it becomes a PR liability. If you want to stay ahead of this stuff, if you actually want to understand how these companies are using your data before they announce it in a buried blog post, subscribe. I break down one of these every few days. Because trust me, this isn't the last time a tech company is going to quietly update their privacy policy and hope nobody notices.